Welcome back to another episode of Mindset Mondays. Today we are talking about quitters. There are 5 types of quitting. We have rage quitting, fake quitting, lazy quitting, mentally quitting, and evolved quitting. We're going to come back to these in just a moment. But what is quitting? Quitting is giving up. And giving up is not reaching your goal. So quitting is basically the same as failure. If you quit, it means that you didn't reach your goal, which means that you failed. If we flip this around, it means that if you don't quit, you will succeed. Now you might say that not quitting doesn't necessarily mean that you will succeed. And I agree, you still need to put in the hard work and grind. If you are not putting in the hard work, then you have mentally quit and you will not reach success. You have mentally quit, so you will not reach the success. So for the people who want to reach the goal of going pro in Fortnite Competitive, it is very important that you never give up. Because if you give up at any point, you will not reach the goal. Now let's talk about rage quitting. Because rage quitting is actually a sign of having low emotional regulation. If you get frustrated or angry very easily, it means that you don't control your emotions. And your emotional state is actually one of the few things you can actually control in life. You know who is very emotional? Children. Children are emotional. So every time you let your emotions get the best of you, you are basically acting like a child. Women are emotional too. And I know some people are gonna call me sexist or whatever, but my dad cries like 1 time in 10 years, and my mom probably cries like 100 times a year. And I'm not saying emotions are bad. I'm saying that if you let them influence your decisions, then you might end up a failure. Because quitting is often a very emotional decision. And just like in the case of a rage quitter, he's just being very emotional and that is why he's not succeeding. Because instead of trying to win, which was his goal, he's so mad at himself for losing that he's just smashing his TV apparently. So stop acting like a baby, stop acting like a girl, grow up and be a man. The second type of quitting is fake quitting. So I've seen this with a couple of players and a couple of friends. And what they say is they'll quit the game. But then a couple of weeks later or a couple of days later, they say I'm back. And they just start grinding again. I think the fake quitter is usually just addicted to the game. Like he's just playing video games. That's basically his addiction. And so he says, I'm grinding Fortnite Competitive. I'm trying to reach this goal of going pro. But he is not really trying to reach that goal. He's just addicted to the game itself. So he can't really quit. He's stuck. But he's also not trying to succeed. So this is kind of fake quitting. You definitely don't want to be in this category. Then just quit. That's my recommendation. If you quit every other week, then you have a problem. Then we have lazy quitting. And I think this is just pure weakness. So what I call lazy is basically being weak. Like being weak and lazy or unambitious. So your goal is to go pro in this game, but you notice how much grinding it actually takes. And you don't really want to grind because you're lazy. So you're thinking, okay, 10 hours a day, I don't really have the time for that. Or I don't have the energy, the motivation. I don't want to grind that hard. So eventually you just give up on the goal because you don't really want to sacrifice for it, right? There's some type of pain that you are trying to avoid. It's probably the hard work, right? Because Fortnite Competitive or most goals, they take hard work. You need to grind if you want to reach success. So I think most quitters will fall under this category. Like you see how much effort it's still gonna take to go pro in this game. And they think, yeah, I'm not gonna make it like this. I'm just not gonna do it. A lazy quitter can basically turn into someone who is mentally quitting. So you could say I'm still continuing to play the game. You are a lazy quitter because you don't want to put in the hard work. But so this only means that you are not really quitting because you still keep going, but because you don't put in the hard work, because you're really deep down a lazy quitter, you quit via your actions. And then we have the evolved quitter. And I put this as the last option. I kind of wanted to say there are only 4 quitters, but the evolved quitter is basically someone who has accomplished their goal. Not really, but that is actually maybe one form of an evolved quitter, someone who has actually achieved the goal. But if you have achieved your goal, you didn't quit because you succeeded, right? If you didn't quit, then you succeeded. I think there's only one real situation where it is a smart decision to quit. And I think that's when there's a different goal or a different path that is more more important or more valuable than the path you're on right now. So Fortnite Competitive is not the only goal that is worth chasing. Like some people might have the goal of ending world hunger, or I don't know, providing education to people who can't afford it. Like there are basically different goals that could help humanity or help other people. But Fortnite Competitive, on the other hand, is very selfish. So it's only about you, you are trying to go pro in this game so that you become successful, things like that. Of course, you can also chase the goal of going pro in this game for like different reasons. You might want to make money so you can, provide for your family or whatever. Or you can, I don't know, inspire others to chase their dreams, things like that. But let's face it, Fortnite Competitive is actually a very selfish goal. You are only doing it for you. So somewhere down the line, you might have a crossroads like this man right here. And you might say, okay, Fortnite Competitive, it is a very selfish goal. I think it would still be enjoyable, but I see this new path right here. And this new path right here. And this new path, it's a lot more meaningful, a lot more purposeful. And then you chase that instead. I think that's an evolved quitter. I think after you quit Fortnite Competitive, you should still maintain the same level of hard work, stay like a grinder, but your goals might have changed and now you're just chasing something else. It's not like you're a complete failure in life. You're not like a full quitter. You're like an evolved quitter who's just moved on. Now, if you are a lazy quitter, I think that is still something that has to do with your emotional regulation, because this is weakness. What did I say about emotional regulation? You are basically acting like a child. A child can, feel like doing something and then he does it. Or he can feel like not doing something and he just doesn't do it, right? He doesn't want to, I don't know, eat his vegetables, so he doesn't do it. He doesn't want to, I don't know, meet this new friend at school, so he doesn't do it. He doesn't want to listen, he doesn't listen. But if you grow up and be more like a man, then you start doing things that you don't really want to do, or things that you are supposed to do. Especially when it comes to reaching your goals, because if you want to reach success, then there are certain requirements like hard work. So if you don't want to do the hard work, then you're probably not going to be successful. So in order to be successful, you have to do something you don't want to do, which is the hard work. So if you don't like grinding, Fortnite Competitive is actually a very easy goal. Like if you're playing Fortnite Competitive and that is your goal, then it should be one of the most easy goals to achieve, basically. Because it's a video games, and video games are quite addictive and they're supposed to be fun. Like even if you are losing, video games are kind of fun, right? Like this is not the hardest goal in the world. Like sure, of course it's a competition, and that's what makes it very hard. Like the competition factor, that you have to outcompete all of these players, and it actually becomes like something you gotta practice for, you gotta train for. It's not really a video game, but it's still a video game. I don't know, let's say you take a complete other goal. Let's say you have you are an evolved quitter and you take another goal, like writing a book. Like some writers have to sit there for years on end and they have to spend like 8 hours a day sitting there writing 500 words per hour. And if you don't feel like doing it, there's not like the factor of, it's a video game, it's fun, it's addictive. No, you just have to sit there and write. And if you don't feel like doing it, tough luck. You have to do it anyways. So lazy quitting is also an emotional thing. You are basically being like a girl or being like a baby. You don't feel like doing it, so you don't do it, right? That's weakness. The mark of a strong man is really pain tolerance. I think pain tolerance and strength are the same thing. So the more tolerant you are to pain, the stronger you are. So if you think, okay, Fortnite Competitive, it's not always very enjoyable. And sometimes, I lose a lot and then I have to keep going and still practice. And I have to put in 10 hours a day and still VOD review. And even if I feel lazy or tired, I still have to keep going. That is a form of pain, right? And if you avoid that pain by quitting, being a lazy quitter, then you are weak. But if you are strong, then you will say, okay, I feel lazy, I don't want to do this, but I will do it anyways. I will take the pain and I will eat it for breakfast, right? Just be like David Goggins, go through the pain, push through the pain. But if you quit, you will never succeed. Even when times are hard, you always just gotta remember, winners never quit and quitters never win.